Beep, 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 beep. Hello, good peeps. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. How are you? Tea when one needs it. It's 3:00 in the morning, and I'm up, so early that even the birds outside are shouting, "Turn the lights off!" Here we go. I need you to share this, like it, share it, subscribe if you want to, become a wire teacher if you want to, but most of all, like and share this on Twitter, on Facebook, on any groups you've got, anything that will enable this message to get out there, because it is absolutely vital that as many people as possible understand what just happened. This is really urgent, so please like it and share it before you watch it. No, don't. But like it and share it. Absolutely, we must get it out there. If you see this on Twitter, please repost with a comment saying "watch urgent." I'm sort of calling for you to all go, "Yay!" and do it. All right, so because this is absolutely vital, one of the most important things happening at the moment. It involves the Torygraph in an article written by Hayley Dixon on the 28th of February, and the headline is "NHS issues urgent warning for discredited transgender clinic." This is why we must get it out there. Gender GP is said to not provide physiological or psychological support to its patients. GPs have been warned not to work with a discredited transgender clinic after the NHS issued an urgent safety alert. Doctors have been told that they should not prescribe puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones on the advice of Gender GP, as it does not provide physiological or psychological support to patients. Can you see now why it's got to get out there? Share it. Really important. Share it and like it. Helps the algorithm. The like kicks it, really helps the algorithm. The share means it gets to more people. The alert, issued by the NHS body responsible for commissioning in South East London, has led to calls for GPs across the health service to be barred from working with the controversial online clinic. Campaigners and doctors called on the government to tighten restrictions to stop private clinics prescribing puberty blockers on Wednesday, despite evidence that they could be causing harm. NHS England last year banned the use of drugs outside of clinical trials after the independent CAS review raised concerns about the long-term impact on children's health. Gender GP, which is registered in Singapore and is therefore not regulated in the UK, says on its website that some NHS doctors are very happy to follow their care plans, but it is a bit of a postcode lottery, sadly. It tells prospective patients that service can issue a private prescription through a number of online pharmacies if a person is unable to get the drugs that it prescribes on the health service. In 2022, Gender GP claimed there were around 800 under 18s in the UK on their books. 800 children on the books. And Dr. Helen Weberly, the decided wobbly doctor, who started the clinic, has prescribed testosterone to children as young as 12. Its website provides a price list for private prescriptions of cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers, which it advises will cost around £270 for a 3-month supply. In the urgent safety alert, believed to have been issued last month and seen by the Telegraph, GPs in South East London were told that they should not engage with Gender GP as advised by NHS England. NHSE. That's, I think, NHS England. Is it? I don't know. Yes, it's got to be. NHS England would put this out, wouldn't they? They'd be the ones that would say it. It continues. Gender GP is an offshore organisation registered in Singapore and run mainly by psychiatrists and this wobbly woman, right? The company is not registered within the UK, nor is it an NHS commissioned and regulated service. Gender GP do not provide physiological or psychological support or follow-up of patients. GPs are strongly encouraged not to initiate prescribing and or engage with gender GP on treatments for children or adults, and are warned that they will not be paid for work that they do with them. That's how you get a minute. Come off at the knees. Money. See? Come off at the knees. The alert concludes, GPs are encouraged to use their clinical judgment for patients referred by gender GP, with the guidance to refer patients requesting treatment to a commissioned NHS provider. You are urged to continue to be vigilant of requests for gender-affirming medications from gender GP, and advised to send in a QA should such a request be received, so that we are able to track and scale the number of requests being made. This should be being treated under a safeguarding principle. If gender GP is prescribing any of this to children, then this is a safeguarding issue writ large, the same as if it's treating vulnerable adults, which most of these people will probably be, okay? It is unclear if any other local NHS commissioning groups have issued alerts, but the Telegraph understands that gender GP has not been named in any warnings from NHS England. In the interim service specification for treatment of transgender children published last year, it said that young people and their families are strongly discouraged from sourcing puberty blockers, puberty suppressing or gender affirming hormones from unregulated sources or from online providers that are not regulated by UK regulatory bodies. Gender GP says on its website that while it hopes that young people are supported by a guardian, it will work with those who do not have parental consent. Unbelievable. This is wibbly wobbly wobbly, isn't it? Unbelievable. Beyond the pale. Where's the government? Come on, ban it. You shouldn't be able to get any of it for gender affirming care. It's not gender affirming care at all. It's mutilation of the body and the soul, for that matter. If you've got a soul, it's just terrible. Come on. Gender GP, there again, says it will work with those without parental consent. We'll say that again so you get it. It then says it takes the same stance as the NHS when it comes to treating younger people, and children under 16 can consent to their treatment if they are deemed capable of making the decision. We need laws around this now. You've got to get this stopped. The site does not mention a High Court ruling which said that this concept, known as Gillick competence, was unlikely to apply to transgender treatment, which led to tightening of NHS prescribing rules in 2020. The clinic was moved out of the UK in 2019 after Dr. Webley was found by a tribunal to have committed serious misconduct in her treatment of children. Serious misconduct. She's still practicing. She's hiding somewhere. Singapore or... You know, it's like, come on. This should be first thing on the news. She was separately fined by magistrates for running an unlicensed transgender clinic from her home in Wales. Dr. Louise Irvin, a GP and co-chairman of the Clinical Advisory Group Network on Sex and Gender, called for tighter rules on unregulated private providers, as the current system is an abdication of responsibility from the government. There is no evidence of the benefit of puberty blockers, but there is evidence of probable harm. Do you think? We know. Yep, that's Louise Irvin. If the service specification for the NHS is that it's safe, good practice not to provide puberty blockers outside of clinical trials, but people can still get them privately, then all you are doing is allowing them to bypass those conditions that you have put in place. If something is not safe for the NHS, then it is not safe for private providers. It is the job of government to ensure safety, and they have an overarching duty of care to young people. Her comments were echoed by Stephanie Davis-Arai, go Steph, the founder of Transgender Trend, which campaigns for evidence-based healthcare. NHS doctors should not be working with private providers who are not following the service specification, she said. I do not even understand how it is possible for these unregulated private providers to prescribe drugs in the UK. The regulations need to be tightened as it is unsafe for patients. Gender GP said, gender-affirming care saves lives and absolutely needs to be accessible for trans people of all ages. They aren't going to stop until you stop them. They aren't going to stop until you arrest them and put them in a dark hole. They aren't going to stop until we ban this so-called gender-affirming care and puberty blockers and so-called hormone treatment for people that don't need it. Until we ban it across the board. That's when it ends. It is a medical experiment of Frankenstein and, Eichmann proportions. Is it Eichmann? No, Mengele. And Mengele proportions. It's eugenics with a new overcoat. We ban it across the board. We put the safeguarding framework back in place. The second a child says they're trans, the safeguarding kicks in, multi-agency approach, and we shut the whole damn thing down. That's what we do. If you can't get in the front door, those that have managed to get through to the back door, i.e. that have done these terrible things to their bodies, they'll get older and older and older, and then they'll go. And there'll be none of them left, because we will have dealt with this dreadful mistake that we have made, that has hurt people, their families, hurt our society, and continues to do so. Share this, get it out there. It's important that the public know. Like, share, do your thing, good people of the Twitters. And I shall see thee later.